discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the 1997 King of the Ring. So, real full circle moment for the podcast.
I know. Is this the first time this is the first time we're covering one?
King of the
Ring,
right? Yes,
because we started right after.
We started the Monday after. So whatever,
Guys, try not to
whatever
cry.
New to Wrestling that comes after this will be a full year of Monday Night Raw.
You guys, let's try not to cry together.
I know. Let's
all hold hands. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Everybody that's just listening to this is like, they're weird.
Everyone just turned this video. I was like, not today. Bye.
They said, run for the hills. All right, guys. So the match card is as follows. In our first match, it is a King of the Ring semifinal match. We have Hearst Helmsley with Chyna taking on Ahmed Johnson. And our next match is another King of the Ring semifinal match. We have Mankind taking on Jerry Lawler. Goldust with Marlena takes on Crush. The Hart Foundation takes on the Legion of Doom and Psycho Sid. In our final of the King of the Ring, we'll get there. I won't tell you who's there. And then we have the tag team champions taking on each other, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. And in our main event, we had the Undertaker with Paul Bearer taking on Farouk and the entire Nation of Domination, apparently.
Period.
So, all right, let's get into it.
Wow.
I know. It was a lot.
So, it was a lot.
And I'm just going to be frank with you all. I did not take the notes I would have normally. So this might be a bit more glib.
Yeah, this is a later night for us than usual than in recent memory, because we did have a few where we were like really burning the midnight oil. This is we're really bringing it full circle and doing a full comeback.
Well, no, 100%.
For heathen ways. So
it is about to be the wee hours of the morning. So
yeah,
we're gonna get it going. As if that knowledge would have put either of us to bed in any other scenario.
Oh, never. Like,
no.
never.
Because the way that I know that I can send a message to Kelsey at 1:30 in the morning, and whether she responds or not, it gets seen.
Oh, yeah. No, you literally sent me a voice memo at 1:16 in the morning last night, and the only reason I didn't respond to it is because I was holding it, but I was talking to Crystal.
Oh, yeah.
So I was up, but I was like, hold that thought. Wait, like I got lost in a different conversation. But I fully was up. Terrible. What a sin.
Whatever. So, all right. So our opening contest, we have Hearst Helmsley with Chyna taking on Ahmed Johnson.
Wait, Chyna really quickly, can we talk about the drama of the intro? Drama, really, it was so, I literally put just honey the drama. I mean, it was like so OD, the music, the shots, like I don't even remember what it was about, clearly. I was just like,
yeah, I mean, it was
this feels
like one of your all-encompassing recaps, but like I don't know what it is about like the music choices on these recently, but they've really been getting us.
You know how when you have like you used to be able to buy like a basic audio package, and it would have like a small selection of like songs or whatever you could use in videos and stuff. It feels like they just upgraded to premium. And they're using 100%. The premium goods now, 100%. Like the premium, like Gladiator-esque sounding tracks.
No,
like,
100%.
That's what it's giving, and I'm here for it.
Oh, well, I mean, watch any movie, watch any television show. Music is like half the battle. So, like,
it's so true, so
and
true.
Even in the context of wrestling, like a wrestler's like entrance theme is so like integral to who they are.
Yes.
So
we literally just talked about it we talk about it all the time, but on the episode we did about a WrestleMania 40 Behind the Curtain documentary, we're like the music, the way that they had like the interferences, and when you hear that music come on, you just were like, no, like it's just it's so beautiful.
And there's just something about like having such an identifiable like song that like just like hits, and like especially if you're there, if you're like in the we've said this before, there's nothing like being in the live audience of a wrestling show, because
period,
it's just chaos. You just get
amazing.
So involved, and like you hear the downbeat of someone's like entrance theme, and you're like, oh shit,
Oh shit, period. Do you know what your song would be? Because I thought about mine and I know what mine would be.
I know what my entrance song would be.
You do? Okay,
Yeah.
period. What do you want to share?
Oh yeah. I always say it's gonna be X gonna give it to you by DMX.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes, because obviously Xavier name starts with X, and
Mhm,
one of our friends bought you the shirt that says X gonna give it to you.
mhm.
Love, iconic, probably one of the best gifts ever.
Amen.
That's
Amen.
a
Amen.
good one. Oh my
I
God,
know.
duh.
Right?
Duh.
I
That's
love
such a
it.
good
I love
one.
it. And it starts out like barking, which is just on
Do
on
do do
brand.
do. Wait, barking on Brent period because the way you get into a zone and suddenly you're just holding like so good. Okay,
Oh, and let me tell
period.
you, the day after we like released that episode, um, the next day at work, for some reason, the
It took
phrase
you.
"got that dog in him" came up like 7 times, like seven unprovoked.
There was
Like,
a whole pack of dogs out there. They all got that dog in them. Who let the
apparently.
dogs out? Who let them out?
Ugh, who,
Mine would be Smack a Bitch by Rico Nasty.
that's amazing.
It starts with that like like that hardcore guitar, and
Yeah.
then it's like, and then literally the whole thing is, thank God I didn't have to smack a bitch today.
Uh, uh,
Except I do.
except I do. Except it's on the agenda.
Except that's what
Like,
I'm coming out here for. But the intro to that song is so good, and it just makes me feel crazy.
ooh, fun, fun, fun.
Yeah. Drop in
Okay.
the comments what yours would be.
Oh
Drop in
yeah.
the
Oh,
comments what your intro songs would be. We'd love to know.
I would actually live for that. And
If the
like
sky
any.
was the limit, like
Mm-hmm,
you didn't have to worry
mm-hmm.
about copyright infringement, getting the rights to the music, like literally sky is
Right.
the limit, what would you pick as your wrestling intro song?
Yes, love that. Tell us, let us know. We're
Please
gonna
let
eat
us
that up.
know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. So our opening contest, we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley with Chyna taking on Ahmed Johnson. This one is actually a rematch from the first round of the King of the Ring tournament
Oh
when this exact
yeah.
match happened. Ahmed Johnson advanced due to a disqualification victory. Hunter advanced by
Suing the
threatening to sue very much the squeaky wheel gets the oil kind of.
Yeah.
um
Mm-hmm.
so we're here now, and China looks amazing. Bodysuit
Duh.
on point, hair
Stop.
snatched, eye makeup like
Beat.
beat. I was like, okay,
Beat.
whatever she was like, it was like a purple situation. And her eyes
Yeah.
were like, I was like, hello.
I I really it brought whoever did her makeup, and maybe it was just her, which love,
Mm-hmm.
so much blush and I mean that in a complimentary way because the
Mm-hmm.
girlies do not pack on the blush the way that they used to. And I
No,
love
no,
to see
no.
a blush packed on and
No,
then just a
you love a
coat.
blush.
I love a blush, live for a blush. I'd be packing it on.
Love that, love
Um
that.
but she had these like this purple eyeshadow that made her eyes so like brilliantly blue. It was
Mm-hmm.
actually like it's like the first time I'd ever seen her eyes. I was like,
Aw.
"Oh my God," like mesmerized by her. I
Right,
was
right,
like
right.
falling in love.
Ugh,
But
amazing.
it's the way I'm going to come on next episode with purple eyeshadow is crazy. I was like, "Oh my God, I miss my purple eyeshadow. It's been a
Love that,
minute."
love that. Bring it back. Bring back
It's so
the
inspirational
Taker
with the
inspired.
period. Oh my God, would be oh,
Oh,
love her. Love her so much. And there was a sign in the audience that said China is sexy. And like
I
10 out of 10 agree.
love that, love that. There was also a sign in the audience that said Phil Mushnick sucks,
Dude,
which is,
uh,
if you've been watching, he was a quite the participant. I don't even remember which
I think
episode.
it was
Was
the
it the
steroid
steroid trial?
trials.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
Um,
deep cut.
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
honestly, not only am I so happy for them that they like, because they were like, this is going to get the few people I wanted to get, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
also thrilled for me for knowing it.
No,
Like, do you know what I
100%. You
mean?
were the
Like,
one that pointed it out because I really wasn't paying attention that much to the signs today, and you were on it. You were like, "These are great."
thank you. The signs were on point today. There were a lot. There was one later on that said, "Dude love lives in us all." When
I love that.
love the sign, Providence, Rhode Island, you turned the house for King of the
Mm-hmm,
Ring
mm-hmm,
this year.
mm-hmm.
And but Phil Mushnick sucks. What a deep cut. And I was like thrilled to be like, I know who that is. I know who that is. So
Hey, listen,
exciting. We've
listen.
come so
We're here to
far.
learn on the New to Wrestling podcast. That's why we're
Okay,
here. Um,
period.
so Ahmed Johnson's basically just mean mugging the entire time that
Duh.
Hunter Helmsley is making his entrance. He's just sitting on the top turnbuckle, just like could not be less interested in anything this man has to offer. He's just like,
And
okay.
someone's got to be that person because he needs to be taken down a peg a little bit.
No, 100%. And this one was, as you expect, Ahmed Johnson's bringing the power game. Hunter has to, if he's going to contend, has to be a little smarter, a little quicker, a little bit more on the technical side. And it doesn't hurt that he's got just 200 pounds of muscle behind him.
Like big muscle.
Muscle,
big muscle.
not afraid to get involved at all.
No.
Very, very back and forth. Ahmed Johnson at one point does this super impressive like military press slam where he has like and not the impressive part wasn't just like the slam, like the getting him up, one thing. But the fact he had this 250-pound man in the air and just starts like bench pressing him, like just does some shoulder raises, like just for the hell of it before dropping him. And we're just like, damn, like you are freakishly strong. Like I know, like it's obvious and it's like apparent, but then you actually like see like a freakish feat of strength, and you're like, I'm scared a little bit.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Because there are people who are big and muscly that you could push over with the cool
Weebles
breeze.
wobble, but they do fall down.
They do fall down. But when Ahmed Johnson does something like that, where it's like, no, I could literally bench press a human being and then like jump around the ring and do whatever, you're like, oh, that's actually like terrifying. Like that's really scary. So big. And when we had that moment or maybe it was 2 weeks ago where he fought Vader, and I was like, we were both like, we just realized that they're like the same size. Like he is very scary. Like he's a big man. He scared me today. And he hit Triple H with the mimic. He hit him with the bow.
I was literally just about to get into that. And I was like, ooh. I was like, go off, King.
Fierce. So fierce.
Unfortunately for him, though, Hunter does get the pedigree and picks up the victory and will move on into the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. So
hate to see it, but
but we'll see what's next for Ahmed. Who knows? Or so
oh yeah, thrilling.
So in our next match, it was Mankind taking on Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry. So Mankind makes his way out to the ring and essentially cuts a promo on Paul Bearer and their daddy issues, essentially. He's like, this should be like a really important night for me, but apparently Paul has like better things to do. And you're just like, oh, let him know. Let him know.
I have sympathy for Paul. I mean, not sympathy for Paul. Ew. Sympathy for Mankind because it's giving youngest sibling energy where it's like my older siblings back from college and now I don't care about you, even though I've been here day in and day out for the whole semester. And now she comes a knocking and here we are again. Sickening.
Fake fans.
Sympathy for the devil.
He does have a pretty good line where he references Jerry and he's like, you're not a king, you're just a pawn in my game. And I'm just like, man, you are so well spoken. I can't.
He had so many good ones today. It was crazy.
Was it in this one or later?
It was this one. He ends this speech with saying RESPECT. You'll find out what it means to me. Now get out here and sock it to me, sock it to me, sock it to me.
No, literally. Who like I was like the way this man just like casually just a couple weeks ago it was Shakespeare, like the week after it was like Nietzsche, and now it's like just Aretha Frank. Like what are no bounds, this man's.
He knows everything. I mean, again, he's like, he's so well-rounded in his education. One minute he's blood and guts and gore, working like jumping off of roofs onto mattresses, barbed wire, fire, explosives, and the next minute he's like RESPECT. Like he is so real for that. So real for that. Get out here and sock it to me, sock it to me, sock it to me. Live for that.
Amazing.
Love. And then he's just done.
No, yeah. And then we cut to Jerry backstage and he goes to like get interviewed and he, like could not be bothered, grabs the microphone, comes out, just starts like howling at the crowd. Just starts doing some crowd work.
In his defense, Tom was right. It was Tom, what's his name? Todd. The guy who sang at the Slammies, Todd. Never forgive him for that.
Pettingale. Yeah, no.
Never forgive him that. But he opens Jerry's interview. I too would snatch a mic, but also such a serve. He goes, "So let's take a look at this match here because you did what you do best, and that's cheated."
Right.
And then he does like he like rips him to shreds for like 2 minutes, and Jerry's like, "Okay, enough of that. Like, shut up." Like,
and we're done with that.
Todd
Thank
was
you.
like so real for that. Like, read him was like, "Oh, so let's take a look at you being the biggest piece of garbage here.
Yeah.
Horrible." Any
Yeah.
comments? Love.
Anything?
Messy.
So yeah, this match is wild because most of it takes place on the outside of the ring. Yeah, as
no countouts to be had whatsoever.
I didn't even hear a referee count at all.
To 2, not even to 4. Like, we didn't even get there.
They were all over the place. At one point, like, Mankind's biting Jerry's biting Mankind in the ear.
The biting.
The biting. Also,
disgusting.
Like, why would you go for his ear, his half ear, his
out of character?
Right.
Super weird. Because Mankind biting Jerry makes sense to me. He's rabid, he's feral, he'll do anything. But Jerry just sitting, he was like holding him to and like really thought about it and goes, "You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bite him. I'm gonna nibble on the ear."
It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen Snow Dogs with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Where he bites the dog in the ear for respect, and then the guy's like, "Ew, you actually bit the dog in the ear. That's gross." Like, the guy who told him to do it, it's like, "Ew, you actually did that? That's nasty." Like, that's so great.
Funny.
So I love that movie. So good.
Me too. It's been a minute. So at one point, I think JR says that Jerry has a PhD in cheating. Love that. Love it. Accurate. Love to see it.
Amen.
Oh, Jerry throws Mankind like he's. I guess he basically grabs him by the hair and just like tosses him back into the guardrail like repeatedly. It was bad because like I don't know what it is about Mankind, but like he never looks like he like sets himself up far enough back to actually like take the bump. It's always like he's getting like absolutely just like shoved backwards, like he like trips over his like own 2 feet, and it's always like his neck and the back of his head smacking the guardrail every time. And you're like, "Sir, how are you quoting anybody, let alone
how do you remember your own name, let alone something that Shakespeare said?"
That's what I'm saying.
And the thing is, what's even crazier is watching that and knowing he's like still a functioning member of society today. He has like a show and everything. Like, he's doing things. Like, he's
he's a busy man. Yeah.
Like, that is bonkers, bananas, crazy. Makes no sense. He just takes the hits so hard.
Right. And Jerry, speaking of just like mistakes, hits his finisher, does the laziest cover in the history of covers, and then is like surprised that Mankind like kicks out. I was like, "Sir, what'd you think?"
Asleep at the wheel.
100%. I was like, this man has been all over you this whole match, outside the ring, in the ring, biting, scratching, trying to shove his fingers in your mouth, and you're like, "Oh no, let me just like lackadaisically like cover this man."
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like,
we did see a couple bang bangs from Mankind, which is a throwback to Cactus Jack. Whenever he would like hit like a big like move, he would like just like come up and be like bang bang. So
I love that.
It was kind of like a nod to like his former character, which was pretty cool. And really the first time we've seen, well, this is kind of like we're kind of seeing the genesis, I guess, of Mankind in terms of like, or the, I guess, metamorphosis from just this kind of like unilaterally like psychotic person to like a human with some psychotic tendencies. Like,
yes, it's interesting. I feel like because we're also seeing that, like you mentioned, with Undertaker,
right,
where we're like starting to see the human the human element of Undertaker and the human element of Mankind. And it's cool too because we know that they have a history.
Right.
We know that they both have Daddy Paul around. Like, it's cool to see that happening, like not together, but like
at the same time.
parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in different ways. Like it's very exciting. I really love to see this, and I slipped up later and like said something about Mankind where I was, and you were like, oh, so you love Mankind now, and I was like, don't do this to me. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, but
Jerry tries to complete it like a sunset flip on Mankind. Mankind catches Jerry essentially, stops him like mid flip, and just mandible claws him right in the gullet. And that is that on Jerry the King Lawler, and Mankind moves on to the finals.
that is disgusting.
Yeah.
I brought up the point of like, the thing is, I'm just wondering, and I know the answer, who and how many times has that little cloth finger thing been cleaned? And the answer is never.
No. And it's actually like Mick in particular is like known for being a little grody.
No.
Like fully like traveling through airports with like his clothes like under his arm.
No.
Like, yeah. So he's not
sweetheart.
he's not known for being the most like put together or
And you know what? I guess it would be out of pocket if it, like, I would have trust issues if he was like the most buttoned up, like normal person on the outside. So I guess that makes sense. But like, don't have your finisher be putting something in someone's mouth if you dirty. That's disgusting. You're
No, but that's
spreading
like
diseases.
that's part of the like of it, you know,
Oh,
is
it's
that
so gross.
it's
I hate
disgusting
it.
in addition to being painful.
It is the worst, most harrowing finisher I could possibly think of at this time.
Love it. Love to see it.
Ugh. Ooh.
So next we have a backstage segment with Brian Crazy Eyes Pillman, and honestly couldn't tell you what he said because it was really, really irrelevant.
Completely.
The gag of it all was that Steve Austin just shows up like behind him,
and he's
just
like,
just with just a shit eating grin, just like just standing behind Pillman, just like, you wait.
You dummy.
Yeah.
And even just a little peekaboo moment, the way it was so funny where he just like appears behind his shoulder and he's like, and then he goes like, and goes behind him and then comes back up again. Like it's so funny. And what a precursor to getting your ass beat.
No, 100%.
If like to know someone was doing that silly stuff behind me and then do what they did, that's like debilitating.
No, 100%.
You're never hearing from me again.
Amen, which is really why the rest of the evening is surprising as far as
shocking.
Brian Pillman is concerned.
The cojones, because not me, miss. Not me.
Stone Cold's just kind of standing behind him, just like, you know, just waiting until he's like reached his like max threshold of Pillman bullshit. And he just starts wailing on him, drags his ass into a bathroom stall, and gives this man a swirly like a 5th grade bully. This was crazy. This was the way he had his whole head in that toilet was absolutely wild.
Because the way I was like, they're just gonna show, like, I didn't think they were gonna have the camera in the stall. Like, I thought it was gonna be the implication of the swirly. No, Miss Swirly has entered the chat. Like, Miss Swirly is here, present. She is in the room with us.
Yo, amen.
I was like, he is not. And at first I was like, give him the swirly, haha. And then I was like, oh my god.
Oh no, he's gonna give him a swirly. Yeah.
And he was not half-assed about it in the slightest. His whole face was in the toilet.
Yeah. And
in the toilet.
Yeah, and then just that's where we leave Brian Pillman.
And then he's just like, bye girl, leaves him in the bathroom stall. I was like, not Miss Swirly. That is
Stone Cold's new nickname is just Miss Swirly.
I can't even say like Steve Miss Swirly Austin.
That sounds so crazy.
That's so psychotic. I really, really can't do it.
So oh my god. In our next match, we have Crush taking on Goldust with Marlena. This one is the only one that kind of felt like didn't have like the story built in.
Yes. Oh my god, completely agree. So the only story was Goldust's costume. That was the only story.
Absolutely. He comes out in just this like fabulous robe. Like it has
plumage.
It has like feathers. It has like these like giant shoulder pads. He comes out like shimmying. It
Incredible.
was a whole look. His face paint got like an upgrade.
This
He's really killing it.
this is the only time I've ever said this. He served more than Marlena did. Like he
Correct.
served a look, and she looked gorgeous, but she was in a simple gold like slip kind of a dress,
Mm-hmm.
and she looked beautiful, but like he ate.
8.
Like
Absolutely
it
8.
was incredible. Only
Mm-hmm.
story I cared about for this.
No, yeah, 100%. And again, I guess it's like, we've talked about this on previous pay-per-views, and especially um the Lost episode, there where it
Oh,
was just a pay-per-view full of just like story or matches with no build. And this one, if one out of the like 6 matches, I'll take one, sure.
yes, so
um
true, so true.
so uh Goldust was like weirdly in control for a lot of the beginning part of this match. Typically
Mm-hmm.
with Crush, it's like, big muscle man like comes out swinging first, and then like
Right.
usually something happens that he gets got. But Goldust is deceptively large. He's 6'6",
Mm-hmm.
where JR at one point on commentary goes, I've never had a man 6'6" give me a kiss. And in my head I was just like, really, Jerry? Try it. Like, I don't know. Like,
I think I like it, Jerry. I don't
I,
know.
it's kind of fun,
Everyone should
like, do
try
you
it
like to climb?
once.
Like, because
How's
you're
your agility? How high can you reach
100%.
on your tippy toes?
Like, do you feel comfortable raising your arms above your head and saying uppy? Because
The picture in my head is so disturbed.
JR full 10-gallon bucket hat. Just uppy.
No, I want to do that thing in Harry Potter where they take it out.
Just
Take it
into the
out.
pensieve. Thank you.
Please, into the garbage, girl.
I don't even want to look at it
Actually,
later.
actually, I might want to look at that again. That one's pretty
Oh,
funny.
so funny. I have a note that just says, "Why is Crush's hair so nice?"
uh, okay, because
Because
here's what
there's like,
happens. Here's what happens when he comes out, I'm like, ew, hate it, whatever. And then that hair comes out the ponytail, and I act different. I'm like,
different, brand new.
I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing
No
here? It's
one,
been so long.
and it's just
How
like
are you?
it's like just like it. It's just so surprising because
It's a
like he'll like be
sickness.
like all up in it, and then all of a sudden like the ponytail comes out, and I'm like all it's in slow motion. There's a fan on him constantly. Like it's always like it's that messy like
Mm-hmm.
didn't do it on purpose, but like did kind of like, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, good for you, damn.
Mm-hmm. It gives that effect of like, and I hate this as a sickness, but when guys get out of the pool and they do that thing where they're like their
Yes,
hair,
I
oh
get
my
it.
God.
I get it.
Strike me
We are
down.
weak.
Oh, it's a disease. Like this is not mimicable behavior. This is horrible.
No, yeah, we are not like your paragons of like virtue. Don't
Yeah, I was gonna say do as they say, not as they do, but don't do what I say either. That's also bad.
no, because it's
Ignore it
also a
all.
dumpster fire. So at one point the nation starts like surrounding Marlena on the outside of the ring because like everyone just loves to come for Marlena's neck.
It was weird though, because like Clarence was one of them, and it was almost like he was like negotiating with her. And I was
Right,
like, what are you talking about?
right.
Like, what do you
What
want?
deal is on
Weird.
the table? Like, what is this?
Yeah, like come on over. Like, I don't
Mm-mm.
weird, whatever.
Goldust goes over to defend his lady and gets a double axe handle in the back by Crush for his efforts.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but then honestly, nothing really, that whole instance didn't really phase Goldust much because he still ends up getting the victory.
And
So
I'm into it.
I'm here for it. I'll take
I
it,
love it.
especially because, as was noted in the commentary, like we're seeing kind of more of a um like change in attitudes as far as like the crowds go. So
Mm-hmm.
or as far as like their affinity for certain wrestlers. So like
Yes.
Goldust, since his like interview, has become a lot more popular, like just with the general audience.
Yeah.
Because now they got a little peek behind the curtain of this weird ass dude. And so instead of just being presented with the weird, they now have a little glimpse to be like, oh, let me put this person in context. And you're like, oh,
That's why context is everything. And that's what
mm-hmm.
we were talking about in our other episode. Is like this is why the behind the scenes is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Like the context makes you believe in things if
Right.
you do it right. Like it
Right.
makes you just want to put faith in things.
Right.
So
Like
like
you're more willing to like suspend your disbelief on like certain things if you like have a better grasp of who these people are.
yes, because people want to psychoanalyze other people
Right.
deep down. Love
Hmm.
to do it. Love to
Right.
put stake in the game of people they've psychoanalyzed and
Right.
come up with a positive conclusion. Because
So
it's me.
facts. So we're seeing that with Goldust, we're seeing that with Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just like the phenomena that is Stone Cold Steve Austin, because for all intensive purposes, like he's supposed to be the bad guy. Like
He's supposed to be the heel.
he's and the thing is like he is doing everything in his power to do that. Like he's not pandering to the crowd, he's not speaking nicely to any of them,
Anyone.
and like we just eat it up, we just love him so much. So
It's yeah, I don't know what it is about him because it's crazy because I feel like if anyone else did that, you'd be like, what a jerk. But with him,
mhm.
you're like, God, can't
Yeah,
stop that guy. He is
you
crazy.
and you gotta like remember this is we're in like the mid 90s now, so now we're in like the height of like we're a little bit past the height. Nirvana just happened. The like whole anti like
Right.
whatever
Establishment.
is huge. Rise Against is is
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
coming
yeah,
to
yeah.
power. Power, they're getting big. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so like I don't know, it's just kind of like that general like sense in society where it's just like, no, like F that noise. F like being good for what? What does it got me? Like, and it's just kind of that kind of vibe. And everyone's just like, it's working for him. I want to root
It's
for that
worked for
guy.
me.
Right.
Literally, Avril Lavigne. All my life I've been good, but now I'm singing "What the hell."
Wow, deep cuts.
Deep cuts, deep
It's
cuts.
not just Mankind that's got it.
I'm saying she read the book of Stone Cold and said, "Okay,
All right. Um
period."
Next we have a backstage segment with Doc and the Legion of Doom and Psycho Sid, and this was shockingly very good.
So good,
Very,
so good.
very, very good. Short, sweet, to the point.
Impressed.
LOD, mainly Hawk, made some point about like getting revenge and how it's a dish best served cold. And he's like, we're
Mm-hmm.
serving the coldest dish like around. And I was like, all right, fair enough. And then they go into like they talk to Animal for a second, and then they turn to Psycho Sid, and he's like, are you gonna be there for the tag? And he's like, you don't gotta worry about me. I'm the master and the ruler. Like, I got my P's and Q's like all lined up. Don't worry. And
And
we're
that
like,
was it.
and that was it. And it was great.
Love.
And great. And
I'm not.
again, that's the thing with the Sid.
We've said it. Short, and then it's delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Delightful.
Right.
I would argue it was one of the best promos of the evening. I would.
100%. I
If
think it
Mankind wasn't there, it
right.
would have been one of the best.
I think I liken Psycho Sid to like just like a really like rich dessert. Like there's just a like it is a lot to take in. You know what I mean? So like
Yes.
sometimes you're
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
I only
yeah.
need like
A taste.
yeah, and you get it. Like
You get
you
it.
get
The
it all.
flavors, the profile,
Mm-hmm.
100%. You are satisfied like
Mm-hmm.
100%. But too much,
So
you got a bellyache.
amen. So after that, we go from Doc to Todd, who is with the Hart Foundation. And this one, I I don't even know how I only remember really Owen's part of it, because that was
Yeah,
like my favorite part of it.
yeah.
He like goes on and talks about the Legion of Doom. He's like, oh, you come out in like your pretty makeup and your Halloween costumes, but like that's not enough to get the job done like against us. So yeah, it was fine. It was a fine
It was
promo.
fine. I to me, it's just like you come out in your makeup and that doesn't get the job done. It's like, okay, but you know LOD and it's not the makeup. Like you
Right.
know that they're hitting you with the doomsday device.
Right.
It's
It's
not the makeup. Like
right,
the
right,
makeup's
right.
for fun. Like I don't know.
Hmm.
It just I was like, eh. But yeah, it was like they tried to do the same thing that LOD did where it was like you're gonna talk, then you're gonna talk, then you're gonna talk.
Yeah.
And it was like Brett and then Owen or Bulldog and then Owen and then Jim.
Yeah.
And
Who
Jim
really
shouldn't
just
have spoken.
yeah. And he's
Jim
talking
was
about
weird.
he was just like I'll show you crazy. And you're like, all right.
Psycho Sid, like, you think you're psycho. You haven't even seen me. And we're like, okay. Like, I don't know. It just didn't land the way it meant to.
So we move on into the actual match. So it's the Legion of Doom and Psycho Sid versus the Hart Foundation. Again, that is the British Bulldog Owen and Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Mm-hmm. Custom leather jackets for the Hart
Custom leather
Foundation.
jackets.
Love. Love. And Xavier pointed out that Bulldog had no sleeves and was like, because his arms are too big for those
His
sleeves.
arms
And
are too
I
big.
love that's such a flex. He's like, remove the sleeves. My arms can't fit in here. I'm so
No, I couldn't possibly.
the gun show is just too crazy for sleeves. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
100%.
And amen. Love
And
that.
this match was pedal to the metal. I don't even know like where to begin because there was so much happening that I couldn't write it down fast enough. But it
No,
was
I barely took
so
any
well,
notes.
yeah, it was so well contested. Like they were back and forth. Everyone was on their P's and Q's. Everyone like knew what they were doing, had the counters like done. It was just so good. And the pacing of the match was excellent
Excellent.
because they don't like each other. They hate each other. They're going to be coming at each other. And also just the participants in. So this is probably the first, I want to say, team or combination where it's like, as far as like muscle goes, it's like the Bulldog and Anvil are very much like the muscle of that team that pairs very nicely with the other team because it's just like muscle, it's just big beef heads. And then you have just the technical wizard Owen just kind of like
Technical
gluing it all
wizard.
together, like
it's so true.
So the match was fantastic. I thought it was great. I
Amazing.
have I know this is Hawk eats a pile driver and just like gets up.
Yep.
Just gets up, no
Munches.
sells it, goes to town. I have another note that just says the British Bulldog celebration dance is just so ridiculous and like gets me
It's
every
so
time.
funny. That like aggressive jog and plate, like skippy jog and place
100%.
is so good.
There's lots of, distracting the referees on the Hart Foundation's part, cheating, using the chair on the outside. Owen, the finish of this match was a little bit chunky in that Owen goes to do a sunset flip on Psycho Sid. Psycho Sid is like just so tall. It's like hard to do. Like you're literally, he has to leap over someone who's almost 7 feet tall and grab them on the way down. So when he's grabbing him on the way down, he kind of like misses, like adjusts and like has to pull him down. If they were to have happened in the middle of the match, you'd have been like, sure, whatever, because you can just go into something else. But it was the finish. So it was just like, do you really believe that Psycho Sid got like just pinned down by a move that wasn't executed fully?
Well, okay, and here's what I'm gonna say, and maybe this is ignorant of me, but I am #new to wrestling. It's just like, I don't know, if I was Psycho Sid and I know that's the finisher, and I like feel it, like, I don't know, would I not like just kind of lean back into it? You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like we've talked about this before, where Psycho Sid isn't necessarily the greatest seller. Like, he's great, but he's not like, I'm not saying he's like flail himself around like Shawn Michaels and Triple H, which I do love, but like that would be out of character for him because he is the big strong man. But I feel like if I knew that was the finisher and I felt Owen coming down, I would just kind of already be leaning back into it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be like just standing there and then being like, oh, aha. But again, I don't wrestle. I do not know. But that's like, I just feel like even just cohesively, even if Owen had not like quote unquote missed, I would have already been leaning back into it anyway. So I don't know. Was just kind of weird. But I will say Owen does an incredible snap suplex on Hawk. That's like one of the notes that I have. And then Owen jumps up and slingshots Jim like into him, like as Hawk gets up from it. It was so amazing, that sequence. And I want to say, I've realized, and I can't unsee it now, that I think that LOD kind of looks like villains in Mario, like Bowser's offspring, and I can't like unsee it.
And
like with the shoulder
literally.
pads. And I mean that like in a endearing way where it's like enjoyable. Like I love
I'm never mad about it. I'm
Yeah,
never
like
mad
they
about
are
seeing LOD.
never. They are like the sub boss battle before you fight Bowser.
Where it's like
Love
two,
that.
so they're like it's like
Yeah, and you gotta
normal.
like jump on one, not quite. Yeah, one's like flying,
Mhm.
one's
You gotta like
doing
stun
this
one, hit the
shell.
other. I get
Yeah,
it.
mm-hmm.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
Love it.
So next we have a backstage interview with Mankind. Um, and this was great. So he's still selling the neck injury from his previous match. Like
Mm-hmm.
so he's like holding his neck. He's like, oh well, I um don't feel like $1,000,000. He's like, how do I look? And like just like he's just so funny.
I love it.
And then he goes on to say, like, in regards to Hunter, he's like, you better have a train and be willing to run me over because nothing is going to stop me. And that's what I'm saying.
And amen.
I always say, like, you have one hit to like knock me out, or like I'm coming for you.
Yeah, you
That's
have
the
one
vibe.
shot.
One
One
shot.
shot, because if not,
Like,
well,
it's fair game after that. It's fair
yeah.
game.
If
Sorry.
not, now I'm just really mad.
And then the best part of this is that this man ends this promo uh quoting the Lion King. He just goes he's like, and to quote, like, what did he say? He's like, and to
He said,
quote,
to quote a movie I walked by once, like not even that he watched, it was like to quote a movie I once walked by and overheard.
right. He goes, I just can't wait to be king, and just like moves on. And you're just like, I'm not even mad at you. That shit's so funny.
I loved that. Again, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, how we just the whole spectrum
Mm-hmm.
of all of the greats, including Simba. Just here we are. I will
Mm-hmm.
use all the material I have.
Right.
And
100%.
again, can't wait to be king because King of the Ring. Like he just knows what to use and when, and I love that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Love
Amen.
that.
So next is our final of the King of the Ring tournament. It is Mankind taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And honestly, this match and the following match like carried this pay-per-view. These two.
Period. Full stop.
So this is really the first like real like full-length match we see between the two. It
Mm-hmm.
will not be the last. They have incredible chemistry. Both
Yeah.
of them say in many an interview that they are each other's like one of each other's like favorite opponents.
Love
Because
that.
of just the way that Triple H sells is immaculate for Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
The way that Mankind kind of puts a toughness on Triple H, like you
Mm-hmm.
can't really like replicate because he's like this like blue blood snob, like doesn't really want to get his hands dirty, blah blah blah. But you put him in there with somebody like Mankind, and you're like, oh, he can hang because he has to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, I was gonna say this match made Triple H look so strong to me.
right,
Like
mm-hmm.
it was one of the matches where I thought he looked the best just
Yes,
as a result from wrestling with somebody like Mankind. And like that's what you want to say, you know?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I have another says outside of the ring is Mankind's territory. They make a point of saying that on commentary, because
Mm-hmm.
they at one point they make their way out a few times, but
Yeah.
it's just a point. It's like for Triple H, if you want to win this match, you better keep it in the ring, because
Yeah,
that's not the one you want to be messing with out there. Uh,
absolutely.
and we see that when Mankind does his like patented like elbow drop like from the ring apron like onto the floor. That man has been doing that for like 10 plus years. He does
Yep.
not have any problems throwing his body on cement. So
Yeah. And we should know this by now. I
right, and
mean,
right, and so you best be prepared because your body's a lot softer than cement. So like
yeah. And I think we've talked about the juxtaposition between the two of them before, where it's like Triple H is like calculating, like he'll cheat, he'll like whatever, and then Mankind is just like relentless, like the horror movie villain who like
right.
you can shoot 100 times and he just keeps coming.
It's amazing.
And I
Amazing what's going
love that storytelling because it's like
on.
that unstoppable force meets immovable object energy, where it's
Hmm.
like who really is gonna give it up.
Right. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
We do see the infamous McFoley like neck spot.
Ugh, I hate it.
Yeah, it's always rough to like see because the man it's hard to see a man hanging by his neck, literally.
Especially when you know that is the way he lost his ear. And
Yeah.
yet he continues to do it as if he doesn't have another perfectly good ear he could lose. Like,
Right.
I'm just like, why every
Mm-hmm.
time? And I know those ropes are hard. They're not like made of foam or pool noodles. Like, they are legit steel cables with
Mm-hmm.
like a tiny cushion around them. Like,
Right.
it's not fun and games. Like, it
No.
freaks me out. I hate it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oof.
So at one point, Mankind hits Hunter with the double arm DDT. He goes for the pinfall when Chyna distracts the referee.
With that
Um,
fresh Manny. No, I'm just
mhm,
kidding.
amen. And then Mankind gets the mandible claw on Hunter, and that's when Chyna swoops in, grabs Mankind by the hair, and rips him out to the outside of the ring. It was crazy.
Love it.
Mankind's mask falls off the first time. He like shoves it back on, but it's just so funny because his hair is just like underneath it now,
Yep,
and so
yep.
it just kind of looks like just like a leather egg. Um, um, and at one point, Mankind, this man and the guardrails, he just cannot. He
He and
throws
his
himself at Hunter. Hunter gets pulled out of the way at the last second, and just Mankind's just entire body once again just yeets back into the guardrail. I was like, you're gonna have those bars permanently imprinted on the back of your head, like.
yeah, legit. It's like his head is like a magnet to the bars. It's just like
Mhm.
zing.
Ugh,
Loves it.
amen. So they make their way out again onto the outside when Hunter then pedigrees Mankind through the announce table, not the
No.
Spanish one.
Yeah. Yep.
Shocked and awe.
Love.
Um, uh, yeah. So Hunter pedigrees Mankind on the announce table, goes to throw Mankind back. Goes back in the ring. Mankind's like crawling his way back. Chyna comes over with the scepter that is supposed to be awarded to the King of the Ring, and breaks it on Mankind's spine. It just
Yep.
the thing shatters on impact. Uh, then Hunter comes in running knees Mankind, and Mankind lands on a poor photographer that's just like trying to get his little pictures for whatever magazine he's working for.
Yep.
He
And
got his
not for nothing, photographer sold. He said, "Oh," like he literally
love
like
that.
he got hit and yes, he actually got hit and like it
Right.
wasn't like the fall was inauthentic, but the way he went
Yeah, no,
like
no, it's
he
the
like laid himself out and I was like, "Amen.
amazing.
Good job, sir."
Amazing. Um, So, yeah, amazing. So then Hunter performs another pedigree in the ring. That is enough to put Mankind away. And what ensues after is just chaotic AF. So Mankind's
Wild.
just dead in the middle of the ring. And so Todd Pettingill has all of the like King of the Ring winnings, and like they're trying to get him to like come in the ring. He like doesn't really want to. China then just like grabs this man and just like yeets him into the ring like he was nifting, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like ragdolling him around. It's like, can you do your job, please? Like,
But also, like, period. Like, get in there and get this over with, Todd. Like, what are we messing around for?
yeah. So China's ragdolling Todd, and like he's like, oh, here, let me like straighten this out. And like Hunter just like rips the like cape from him, he like puts it on, gives it to China's like, here, you do this.
Because obviously the only competent person here, Jesus.
Right. Amen. Then he goes to get the crown like awarded to him, like put it on his head. Mind you, this is like a like purple fuzzy, like just
Party
like Party City,
City.
yeah, just crown. Um yeah, for like the costume that's just like royal man, because like for some reason you
Yeah.
can never just say what it is. It's always like
Yeah,
some
royal
convoluted
adult.
description. Yeah. And you're like, shut up. um and then he just starts beating Mankind with the fuzzy crown. And you're just like, all right, all
But the
right,
way, like, it was if he, it was made of steel. Like, he was acting as if it was like a heavy, like, crown
right,
for King Game of Thrones energy, where he was
right.
like bashing him
Bashing
over the
it,
head with
yeah.
it, where it's not like fuzzy and
Mm-hmm.
soft and probably weighs like 3 microns, like
Mm-hmm.
weighs nothing. And he was
Right.
like holding it like
Right.
like a boulder. Like, sir,
I was like, that is not a
what's
bowling
happening?
ball. Get a grip.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, Triple H, King of the Ring.
King of the
Did
Ring.
not see that coming. Sued his
Especially,
way in, ended up winning.
right.
Shocking.
Typical.
Though I will give him credit. Well, yes, I will give him credit where credit is due. He fought off 2 mandible claws during
Yes.
his match.
Yes.
Two.
No thanks.
Disgusting. And
Disgusting.
I want to point out that JR also mentioned, he goes, I can't imagine the odor of those fingers.
Yes.
And I was like,
thank you.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, because the smell is bad enough, and now you put it in my mouth. Disgusting.
Disgusting.
So Triple H fought off 2 mandible claws, and that is commendable, and I will give him that. Thank
Right,
you.
right. So, congrats to Triple H, the 1997 King of the Ring. It's been a minute, but congrats.
Cheers to you, bud.
So next, the Hart Foundation comes out in their entirety. Surprised to see Brian Pillman dry. Interesting. Like,
Surprised to see you dry and with your dignity intact.
Right, 100%.
Couldn't be me, babe.
It's weird that your head's up so high. I don't like...
No, I'm saying because the confidence, like you did not. This did not track for me. You got swirlied at the top of this episode, and then you're coming out haha hee heeing with the boys. No.
Later? No.
No.
You would not see me again tonight. That would not
I'm going home.
I'm leaving. Like,
I'm
sorry.
earned my check tonight. Good night.
Any evening where my head ends in a toilet is the end of the evening. It's the end of the evening. If I'm gonna puke and rally, it's not gonna be in the toilet. Like, I'm just
honestly, that's true, and I think that's the key. You can't go into the bathroom that's accepting defeat. You puke out the window of a moving vehicle.
You park on the street, in the trash can,
in the grass,
in a bowl, find a basin. Who cares?
A vessel, but it can't be the toilet. Honestly, I think that is the key, because once you're in the bathroom, you're like, might as well just wash my face and go to bed then.
Right. No, 100%.
No, but if I got swirlied, you wouldn't see me for at least a week, let alone in a couple minutes. That's crazy.
Let alone, he's supposed to fight Stone Cold tomorrow, like the next day.
No.
Yeah. How confident are you going to feel after getting swirlied?
Yeah, no, there was too much upright activity for me from him. Like, he looked too confident, and I don't like that.
Right.
Because no.
So
not right.
after so they're like supposed to be like joining for commentary, but there's like 10 of them, and the table is broken. There's not an extra mic. It's really chaotic. Brett in the beginning of this whole spiel is like, I'm almost not injured anymore, and I was like, why would you need to come out to tell us that? I feel like you could just wait till you're not injured anymore and just be like, I'm not injured anymore.
Right. He also issues a challenge, which I didn't quite understand. It was like, because they're going to be wrestling in his hometown in what, like 2 weeks or something in Calgary?
I think the next like pay-per-view is going to be the Calgary Stampede.
Oh, the next yeah.
And so he issued a challenge for like a 5-on-5 match.
5-on-5. Okay, I didn't know if it was like you versus this person, then you versus this one.
No.
Like,
it's
like a bracket type
or at least that's what it sounded like to me, was that he challenged them for a 5-on-5, like you find your 5 brands, I'll bring my 5 brands, like we'll have a knife fight under the bridge or whatever.
Ooh, no, like who are the 5? It's definitely Stone Cold, definitely Shawn Michaels, Psycho Sid,
Legion of Doom.
That would be good. That would be good. Or like a cute like Ahmed Johnson.
I don't think it's gonna be Psycho Sid.
Really? I feel like he hates them so much.
He does, but we also know that his last match is in the WWF is coming up.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And it's against Owen. So my best guess is it might be on the next one or the following one. Because
I can't believe that.
Owen just pinned him, so it would make sense for them to have a return match, and so that might be
it.
That might be it. Then
shocking.
He goes to WCW after that.
What a horror. Sorry.
What are you gonna do?
Well, what are you gonna do? Money.
So
Wow.
After that, it's really chaotic, and then eventually, like, all of the like stooges or the like officials come out and like kick the Hart Foundation out, and just are basically just like, yeah, you don't really have a reason to be here, so like you can go.
There was a lot of hubbub for just the fact that like you couldn't be on commentary because the table is literally broken. Like
Right,
there was like so much fighting and back and forth about this, and I was like, it's not that necessarily that we don't want you here, even though we don't really, but
right.
also like the table is literally broken, equipment in shreds scattered across the universe. Like
Exploded. Like, what
it's
do you
not
want? What do you want
like we
here?
can't remedy this. Move along.
Amen.
Stupid. Pissed me off.
So they eventually make their way out. We get a backstage interview with Doc and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Basically he's asked about like, so like, how are you gonna like do this match and still like maintain your championships? He's like, listen, like, if Sean forces my hand to like turn up the violence, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And but he's like, I guess I won't cripple him though, because I guess I do kind of need him to defend these. And we're like, okay, sure, fair enough. um
Honestly, very level-headed response, in my
right,
opinion.
especially for Stone Cold. And
Mm-hmm.
so as he's making his way out to the arena, he cross paths with the Hart Foundation, and it's just hilarious. He's
It's
out
so
here.
funny.
He goes like, he literally goes over them like, he's like, how about this, and just flips them flips them all off. And then like on his way out, he's like, y'all can wait here. I'll kick your ass when I come back. Like, he's like, you don't have to go that far. Like, I'll be
Love
back.
it.
And
Yeah, like
I
don't worry about it. Swirlies for everybody. Swirlies in the house when I come back.
no, 100%. The energy on that man is just unmatched. I
Love it.
just amazing. And after that, it cuts to Todd with or no, sorry, Doc with Sean. And Sean's interview was just like, so like, he was just like, how would you like me to feel about this? This isn't like a best case scenario for anybody. So like, it's like, do I kick his ass? Do I not kick his ass? He's my tag team partner. I don't know. What is the right thing? And then just like leaves. And you're just
He's
like,
like, we'll find out. I don't know.
yeah. And you're
Leaves.
like, all right, love that. Chaotic, chaotic,
I'm into
chaotic.
it. I'm so into it because the energy is just like we just want to fight. Like we're
Right,
just kind of mad and we just need to air it out. And
right.
like I'm not really sure what the result is going to be, but we're just going to do it.
Yeah,
Kind of live for that.
we're
Kind
gonna
of
f
live for
around and
it.
find out. Um,
Period.
and this match was so
It was
good.
so good.
So good. It starts off a little bit chaotically because we do have like a fan that ends up like jumping or falling over the barricade, and then there's like a bunch of
Yeah.
security, and then we find out that like it's like a special needs fan, and then Sean's like trying to like say hello because he was clearly like trying to see Sean, and it was like a whole thing. But eventually, security gets them like backstage or whatever, and they can continue like what they're doing. But it definitely was like a weird start
Start,
to,
stop, start, stop.
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, the safety of the fans and is, utmost. So they'll stop what they're doing, address the situation, and then we'll get back
Yeah,
to it.
I thought it was handled well. Very,
Yes,
very
I
well.
agree. Mhm, mhm, mhm. But this match it's so good. It's just
Oh my
the
God.
back and forth. You really, the way that you just, between the two of them, you never know who's coming out on top.
Mm-hmm.
Sean sells so well,
Oh
just
my
so
God.
well.
He's so sick.
Uh,
Man.
it's 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 positively sickening. And yeah, I don't know. I loved watching this. It was 30
It was
minutes,
amazing.
and yeah,
Felt like
I clocked
four.
it. It was 30, it was 29 something something. It
Felt like 4 minutes. It was
right,
so
because it was just
engaging.
so well contested, and it was just so like, and they say it like on commentary, like these are two people in their prime. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the best they're gonna be.
Yep.
And like it shows. It like absolutely shows.
100%. There was like back and forth too. I love when they mimic each other. So like at one point HBK like gives Stone Cold the double bird classic,
Mm-hmm.
and then at another point a Stone Cold does like
The
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 lean on the
pose.
one leg and like
Yeah. The Shawn
gun
Michaels
show,
pose. Yeah.
and like and he literally goes like, this is stupid. Like he's like, "Oh, okay, why do you do that? It's weird." Like I just love that. Also, there's a part, thank God,
Oh yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
Shawn Michaels like cheeks come out a little bit, like his pants come down a little, while he gets like thrown up against the ring post. So also he's just like sitting on the ring, cheeks out. And you find I did not know, and I am so happy I know now. He has a heart-shaped tattoo on his butt with his own initials. HBK.
Love it. Love it.
I
So
just
fun.
love it. He's so on brand. The tattoos are
So
great.
on
Like,
brand.
that is hysterical. I don't even care if that's dumb, like to have your own initials in a heart. Love it. Live.
But it's not really, because it's like, I mean, it is, but it's like his character.
Yeah. It's not like it says Shawn Michaels and whatever his middle
Right.
name is. It's like
Right.
HBK. But also still like, I
Right.
live for that. Live for that.
So, this match was amazing. It
So good.
ends chaotically as it started, when basically the two of them just start knocking out referees. Just they just start
They do their
knocking out
finishers on everyone but each other.
100%. They just like knock a referee down, like roughhouse him, send another one, knock him down, and then Earl comes out. Earl's just like, because he's like the head referee, and he's like, I saw you hit him, I saw you hit him, you're both done, and calls for a double disqualification. Um, Unpopular as far as like, I think you can get away with that because they just wrestled for 30 minutes. And because it's so unresolved. Like, we are still very early days of like whatever this situation is going to like boil down into. It's like they're still tag team champions. So unless they want to go into like an immediate feud with the two of them, neither one of them could really win this match.
I guess.
So
I was of the crowd's feelings where it kind of irritated me. Like, because people were so mad, like they were throwing shit. Like,
yeah.
garbage was ending up, and like I kind of felt that way. And I know, I literally like wrote, like, I understand why it had to be that way. And I also love that Earl came out and like they were not about to put the moves on Earl. They were like, "Ooh, girl, sorry." Like they were like, "Ooh." Like Earl came out and started just getting in their face, and I was like, Earl takes no shit. He's out here. You said you knocked down my friends. I saw it, and I'm not taking that. Bye. Throws him out. Love. But also, like, it was one of those matches where it's like, I don't care who wins because they're both so amazing. And I love that feeling where it's like, you're just excited to be along for the ride, where I'm not like
I'm just happy to be
biting my
here.
nails, just happy to be here. And it's such a good match. It's so good. You didn't even want it to end, and you weren't sure how it was going to end. And so when you're on the edge of your seat the whole time, like pinfalls are getting so close and like finishes are happening, and like I understand why then when suddenly it's just like a double disqualification, you're like, what? Like, you just get mad. You're like, what do you mean I watched this for 30 minutes and nobody wins? Like, that's irritating. Like,
Yeah, but you
you
want to
get
see him do
caught
it
up.
again.
Exactly. So like I in the moment I was like, are you freaking serious? Nobody wins? Like, I get it. I feel the feeling, but then I was like, okay, but like, yeah, like what are they gonna do? Like, one of them wins and then they never have a good tag team match again. And I want to see them do tag team matches. I want to see them fight each other again. Like, you get it. You rationalize yourself out of it, but I understand in the moment. Like, I too was outraged.
Amen.
And when they leave the ring,
do
so
it.
funny. Stone Cold goes, they're like fighting about it, like blah, 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 and they're like walking out together, which I also love because they're still tag team partners and they still have this like
Did
level.
you see it though? Like as they were walking out, like neither one of them wanted to walk in front of the other
because they thought somebody was gonna bah in the back. But Stone Cold is like, they're fighting about it, and Stone Cold's like, well, the referee was a jackass, and Shawn Michaels goes, everyone's a jackass, and I was like, honestly, period.
Yeah, what a mood.
Truer words. Truer words.
Never spoken. And I have a note at for the end of this match. It just says blood curdling scream, because whoever was sitting behind the commentators like
found her voice.
Yeah, she found it, she raised it, she shredded it. Yeah, it was a time, and it was just so persistent, relentless, because it was throughout the entirety of the next match also.
And not even just like a scream, it was like, I thought she was being murdered.
No,
shredding her vocal
it was
cords.
like the scream of like a woman who just lost her child. Like, it was not like it came from somewhere in there,
scary, deep down and scary.
right? I was just like, what? And yeah, but I was like, okay, go off, I guess. But
I
like
mean, it was
that's
just
weird and
weird,
scary.
out of the blue. Like she'd
Mm-hmm.
been there the whole time, and then suddenly it was just like a banshee.
And you're like,
Ooh,
okay, okay.
no,
I was like, you want to front a
nope.
metal band? What's happening?
Yeah, like, are you good?
You know.
Scary.
So Todd is backstage with the Nation, and Farouk puts on like just another short, sweet, like to the point promo, and it was really good.
So good.
He's asked about
So
like his
good.
like chances of like beating the Undertaker. He's like chances for old folks and fools, and I was like, okay, go off. He's like, I don't need that. And then he's like, the Undertaker better be worried about me. He's like, don't worry about Paul Bearer's blackmail. You better worry about this blackmail. And I was like, oh,
Love.
go off. I love a play
Love.
on words. I love a turn
And
of
then he just
phrase.
leaves.
Mm-hmm. So
Love.
good. So good. So good.
One of my favorite Farouk promos of all time, if not my favorite. I
Right.
mean, he really like, I don't know, he's turning me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's turning
Mm-hmm.
me. Need
So
it.
and yeah, we'll get into it as far as like the match goes. But
Hmm.
so next we have Doc is backstage with the Undertaker and Paul Bearer. And again, he's asking about like the secret. Paul Bearer's like, mind your business, blah blah blah. As Paul Bearer's like then turns to like berate, like just start like yelling at the Undertaker, and the Undertaker eh, like mid sentence, like the like
He
Paul
goes,
is mid tirade, and he just goes, just
leaves.
gets turns around and dips. He's like, enough of that. Thanks.
Leaves.
I was like, thank you for your 2 pennies. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Oh,
So
iconic.
good. So good, so
So
good.
amazing.
So next we have our main event. It is The Undertaker taking on Farouk for the WWF Championship. And yeah, it's, as we know, it's all of the nation, all 18 members of them.
Hmm.
Except for PG-13, we don't know where they are.
Dude, they got beat up by LOD and they never came back. It was
I
like,
honestly same. Like,
no, again, same. Like, have a little self-respect. It's like, you know what? I took this L and I'm gonna go take it home.
right, right,
I'm
right,
gonna
right.
go.
And
And
not for nothing, like
respectfully,
they were thrown to the wolves. So
for real, for real. We also, there's a moment where I don't know if you were gonna mention this, but when Paul Bearer and Undertaker are walking in and Vince says something and he
oh yeah,
meant
do
he
it, do it, do
meant
it.
to say that slob Paul Bearer, but he said it. Xavier and I both were like, did he just say that slut Paul Bearer? And then we couldn't stop going like,
Died. It
that
was just so
slut Paul Bearer, like
that slutty slut
that
Paul Bear.
hussy Paul Bearer. And like Xavier's like, what does he know about him? Like, what's going on behind closed doors?
Oh,
That
don't I want
too.
to know?
Oh God, it might be a little rated R for live television. I don't know, but that he was
That
like that
slutty
slut
slut Paul
Paul
Bear.
Bear, and we were like, and the only
So
reason I
good.
realized it was wrong is because I had my subtitles on and I saw it said slob, and I was like, I swear he said
I
slut.
swear he said slut.
He
Like
might have, and they changed the caption to throw us off. I don't
honestly,
know.
because no, because it really, I just feel like I can clock that from like I don't know.
I know the word slut when I hear it because I've heard it.
Amen.
I
Same.
am familiar with the term
Right.
and how it
So
comes out.
so Paul Bear is a slut. And
And I love that. I love the idea of calling Paul Bearer a slut. So funny. Because like
uh
it's just
it's so funny. It's
it's
just
so
so
funny, the
funny.
visual. That's
Mm.
slut Paul.
Uh,
And
uh,
we're gonna use that forever. Anytime
for,
Paul Bearer
for
comes out, we're like, here's that
I might just start using it just in my like everyday life. Just
every
that
day we're like, here comes
that
that slut.
slut Paul Bear.
Yeah, oh, love
Oh,
it.
so
So
good, so good,
good.
so good. This match far better than their first outing.
I wrote that. I said the
Far
chemistry
better.
far superseded their first match, and that's on growth, sweetie. Like
Yeah, like
far
it.
superseded.
They were just like I don't know what it was. They probably obviously this is like the main event of a pay-per-view. They definitely got together and were like, all right,
We're gonna
we're gonna
work
show out because
together.
we gotta show out.
Period.
Because this is the thing people pay their money for all intents and purposes. Like
Yeah.
this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was much better. Their chemistry was on point. I think they did a really good job of like using the nation, but also like not overdoing it, I guess. Like,
Yeah, they
yes,
still
they
let them
interfered
have
like
their
a decent
match.
amount.
Mhm.
Yes, but they still got to like actually see a like one-on-one championship match.
Yes.
So where am I? Oh, at one point, JR calls just because it's roast Paul Bear night. He goes, that big old pimple on the rear end of the world.
Oh, he said pimple?
Mm-hmm.
That's even better. I for some reason thought he said pit bull. Apparently I can't hear, which it did because it was first of all, the rear end of the world is funny enough. That's
Right.
hysterical. So I was like, well, that didn't really make sense, but that
Mm-hmm.
is funny. Oh my God, pimple is so much better.
So good. So good, so good. Um,
Wow.
so
Love
at
that.
one point, I want to just shout out this one move that the Undertaker does because it's insane. He goes to do the tightrope walk with Farouk, and he's got Farouk by his arm. By the way, Farouk's not doing a very good job selling it as this is happening, by the way. If you look,
Yeah,
he's
at
just
his
kind of like
face. When
has
they
his
did the other
arms.
angle, he's like,
Yeah, right. So there's that. But the Undertaker walks him to like the center of the ring or the center of the ropes, and then just like all of a sudden like changes gears and just throws himself backwards onto all of the nation. All of the
love.
nation, and then he just starts swinging for the fences. He just single-handedly beats the crap out of all of them. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was
He
amazing.
He did that. And I love that it's like, okay, hold my hand. Now let me walk over here. Oh, now I'm gonna crowd surf on the bodies of your friends.
Right.
Bye. And like let's go. I think
100%.
that is so great. And that's the first time he's ever done that.
No,
And
yeah.
I lived for that because the switch up was like unsuspected.
Mm-hmm.
I will give it to the nation members. Later, he does the tightrope again, and they were not afraid. They ran up and were like, "Not again!" and like pulled the
Yeah.
ropes, and then
Mm-hmm.
got the
Got the low blow.
yeah.
Um,
They were like not again. They learned
mhm.
from their mistakes and that's important.
Yeah,
But
growth.
growth. But no, that was so good and like it landed perfectly. He wasn't even all the way standing before he started swinging, knocking him out. I mean,
Amazing. So good, so good.
mwah, mwah,
Um,
mwah.
the match continues. It's great. Their chemistry's unmatched now for some reason.
So much better. Yeah.
Um, and uh the match culminates is we get a kind of like I knew this feud was not done. I knew this feud was not done. So something happens on the outside of the ring. There's a miscommunication between Savio and Crush, and they start getting into each other's grill once again.
I don't understand. Well, because they said Savio pushed Clarence over, which, like, why are you doing that?
Right.
So then Crush gets in Savio's face, like, why are you doing that? Like,
Right.
especially right now. Like, now is not the time. Like, it was really random. They were like, wait, Savio pushed over Clarence Mason. And it's like, huh? I didn't even
Right.
see it happen. Like,
Right.
so now all the girlies are beefing on the side of the ring.
Yeah.
And then Daddy Farouk has to go over there and start yelling.
Which allows the Undertaker to scoop Daddy Farouk, drop him on his head with the Tombstone Pile Driver, thus successfully retaining his WWF Championship. And yeah, that's that. That's
I
that. The
haven't,
Undertaker
I
wins.
which I love to see. I literally wrote Daddy Undertaker wins! Exclamation point. Exciting. But for some reason I had a moment of sympathy for Farouk. I don't know why I felt that way. Where I was like, oh, that is kind of a bummer. Like,
Well, it is because it doesn't really like yes or no, like him or hate him, but like there is something that's like it takes the air out of you a little bit when someone loses not of their own volition.
yes. Where it's like, why can't you two shut up for 20 minutes?
Right.
Like right now, you need to fight about it right now. Take it in the hallway. I don't
Right.
know. Like the
Right.
test is in session. You can't be gabbing.
Right.
I'm trying to do this. Like, I don't know. Like, and don't you want your boy to succeed? Like, he's
Right.
literally supposed to be your
Hello.
ringleader, aren't you? Like, yeah, I think that pissed me off because it's like no real friends in the industry. Like,
That's what I'm
shh,
saying.
hate
So
that.
that what ensues after is Paul Bearer essentially So of course the nation comes in to like attack. The Undertaker clears them all out because that's what he do.
Duh.
And then Paul Bear is left in the ring with Farouk on the ground and the Undertaker, and Paul Bear is signaling to the Undertaker that he would like for the Undertaker to choke slam Farouk. The
I
Undertaker's
hate
like,
him.
literally, you see the Undertaker just go like, no, like I literally just beat him. I'm done with that. Thanks. And then of course Paul Bear starts picking it back up with the blackmail, and he just starts hollering. Undertaker does one choke slam. He's like, again, I love it. Ooh. And then so he does another one. And then he goes to do like, and then he calls for another one. And then this is the part that like confuses me is Ahmed Johnson comes out after the Undertaker delivers the third chokeslam. He's like, "What are you doing?" And the Undertaker's kind of like looking at Paul, and like Ahmed, you can hear Ahmed Johnson be like, "I'm talking to you. Don't look at him. I'm talking to you." And he's like, "What are you doing?" And like, at one point, the Undertaker just goes to kind of like shove him like away, and obviously that's enough in the world of wrestling.
For it to go as a pop off.
Right. It doesn't
Right.
take much. So then Ahmed Johnson performs the Pearl River Plunge on the Undertaker. The Undertaker, like Ahmed Johnson, like f's off back to the back, and the Undertaker sits up and is just like daggers on Paul, and he was like, "I could have been gone from this ring by now, and you out here making me just like attack this man for no reason, for no cause. I literally just pinned him 1, 2, 3. He's dead in the middle of the ring. What was this?" So the pay-per-view ends with the Undertaker just doing that, scary movie like slow walk up the ramp following Paul Bear, who looks like he done shat himself, that slut. And
It's never gonna get old. I live for it. That,
never
that
ever
filthy
ever.
slut done shat himself on his way out of the ring.
So that was the 1997 King of the Ring. That's
I
where we are left. How do you feel?
I hate Paul Bear so much. How dare you
No.
make me start to not like because you're doing that thing where like you're making the Undertaker do things that make me upset. And I don't
Mhm.
want to have any sort of ill will against my champion. How dare you, filth? How dare you, filth? And then
Mm,
now Ahmed Johnson has to come out and try and be the voice of reason and be like, hello, which I love that he did that. It was like, I don't care about the blackmail. This is wrong. Nothing that he has to be
right.
as bad as what's happening, what he's making you do. And
Right.
I love that. Like, come out here because that's I don't care what type of relationship they have. Like, that's a real one right there. To be
Mhm.
like, this is not
This is
okay.
effed.
And I will say Ahmed Johnson gave him the chance to be like, stop
Right.
before he was like, okay, well now I have to hit you with the pro roller plunge.
Right.
He's like, I understand you're in a tight situation, but this ain't right.
Right.
And I don't think Farouk deserved that as much as I don't like him or like what
Mhm.
he's about, but like I just it made me feel icky and I don't like that. But I
Right.
do think it's interesting that Ahmed came out to defend Farouk because it was like I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago when we were talking about this where like Farouk said something and then they decided to interview Ahmed Johnson about how he felt about it, which is problematic in and of itself, but we moved on. And he agreed with Farouk, was like, actually, like what he said was true. I don't want to agree with him because he literally exploded my kidney, but you asked me and that's the tea. And
Right.
so I'm like, interesting that he came out to defend him.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering where that's going to go. I'm very
Mhm.
curious
Me
because I
too.
know that the NOD needs some serious restructuring, obviously.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's
Obviously.
dissension in the ranks.
Right.
And I feel like it would be kind of a slay because we were talking about NOD potentially recruiting Rocky.
Mhm.
It would kind of be a slave Ahmed Johnson too.
That's what I'm
Like I
saying.
know that they have long,
Beef.
fierce beef, ferocious Wagyu steak beef, like
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
violent.
But
But
you
I
never know.
love when the girlies put the beef aside and team up,
Mhm. Mhm.
and we
Mhm.
kick Crush and Savio Vega to the curb.
Right. I get it.
That would turn me out, to be honest. So I'm really curious to see how this goes. Love that Daddy Undertaker is still the champion, but like whatever is happening with the black belt needs to stop because it's making me upset.
Yeah.
And that's that.
All right. So
Awesome.
that has been another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. Thank you for watching wherever you do. Thank you for sticking with us with our slightly sporadic postings, I guess. That's on me. I'm trying
It's
to
summertime and the
summer,
living is
guys.
easy. Yeah, we're
So,
just whatever. We'll be more structured when it's cold and we want to be inside.
Right. Thank you all for watching, and we will catch you next time.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.